Spright is a mid-range deck focused on summoning tons of level 2 monsters in order to tutor out rank 2 and link 2 monsters from the extra deck as fast as possible in order to build an unbreakable board that the opponent can't beat, while also setting up a decent amount of follow-up, which can be used to kill your opponent on the crackback, or if you can't do that, set up an even more unbreakable board, giving your deck a good backbone in order to prevent you dying. Despite the mod, Spright mainly focuses on being an engine rather than being the whole deck itself, as it's not really playable unless you use other cards. However, with other cards it can become a fairly solid deck, which is very popular in today's current metagame. Okay, here's a basic example of the Spright engine. Most of the time you'll play as many copies of Blue and Jet as possible, only one copy of Red and only one copy of Carrot. You want the 2 starters, and usually 1 smashers or 1 double cross. Usually don't play both, but some lists do. For the extra deck, usually play 2 to 3 Gigantic Spright and 1 Spright Spring. These help you tutor level 2 monsters from your deck. These Spright monsters act as bodies on field and swarm very easily. Spright on its own is a very simple engine that can swarm the field very quickly with level 2 monsters. Most of the time you're playing it with a supplementary engine in order to help out. Usually this can include the Nimble package, where Nimble Angler can be sent off Sprint in order to get 2 Nimble Beavers on field. Additionally, Nimble Beaver can be normal summoned to summon another copy of Nimble Beaver or another copy of Nimble Angler from the deck. Usually so you have 3 Beaver, 2 Angler. You can play a small Melfi package with 1 Catty, 1 Penny, 1 Melfi of the Forest, 1 Merry Melfis, and 1 Herald of the Arclight. You can use 2 of the level 2 monsters you control in order to make Melfi of the Forest, which will search Melfi Catty, which can summon itself during the end phase, and then when your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can return Catty to your hand, summon Penny from your deck, and then use Penny's effect to quick sync into either Merry Melfis to bounce a card on field, or into Herald of the Arclight to gain a negate and Macrocosmos. You can play it with a runic engine, using the runics as your main grind game and form of interruption, and using the sprites as a quick way to gain advantage and build a pretty decent board, which is very difficult to break with the assistance of the runic cards, as the runic cards themselves will give you a ton of advantage, due to Fountain's effect allowing you to draw up to 3 cards. You can then play the runic engine and the Spright engine alongside Live Twins or Fur Hires. Both of these act as engines which let you draw a ton of cards and gain advantage, and act as interruptions. The Live Twins give you a draw and a pop each turn, and the Fur Hires give you a ton of bodies on field to use as link material and Xyz material, but also Forgo Justice for Hire gives you the ability to draw 1 or 3 more cards when you destroy a card on your opponent's field. And with in the addition of Fountain, this can cause you to draw up to 6 cards, which is incredibly powerful and a great way to gain advantage. Here's a sample of a pure Spright deck list. This deck has the main idea of swarming the field with level 2s to make very powerful plays, including a small Melfi package and Nimble package to swarm the field with bodies. You can additionally play Swap Frog as a way to make Totally Awesome with Bujinki Ashahima. As well, you can play the Mosquito Ninja, rank 2, as a really quick way to OTK if you give your opponent a Nibiru token if you're playing something like Nibiru in the side deck. Here's a quick example of what a single starter can do in a pure Spright build playing a Melfi package. You can use starter to summon Blue, then use Blue's effect to add Jet, summon Jet, add Double Cross. You can then link into Sprint sent the Nimble Angler, summon 2 Nimble Beavers. You can overlay 2 of your monsters to make a Gigantic Spright. You can then summon off of Gigantic Spright any Spright from the deck, making a Melfi of the Forest, which allows you to add Melfi Catty, summon the Melfi Catty during the end phase, and have the trap ready. You can then return Catty to hand, use Penny's effect when added to summon itself, and then immediately synchro summon for something like Merry Melfis, bounce something to the hand. You can also use the trap effect in order to steal an opponent's monster from grave or field. Here's a very simple combo with 1 Spright monster, I've chosen Jet because it's the worst, and 2 runic cards. Usually in Runic Spright you're opening at least 2 runic cards. You can then use one of your runic cards to make Huggin to search Fountain. You can then summon Jet to search Starter. You can make Sprint. You can use Sprint to send one of your Live Twin monsters if you're playing the Live Twins. If not, you'd send one of the Fur Hire monsters. You can then summon Blue off of Starter. Then use your other runic spell to summon the level 2 fusion, which allows you to draw 2 cards off a Fountain. You can then summon a Kisakill off of the Gigantic, go through the lines of the Evil Twin Leela and Evil Twin Kisakill, in order to make an end board of a Kisa kill, which allows you to summon back the Leela and destroy a card your opponent controls with 4 cards in hand. Here's what a single Rex for hire and the worst Spright to draw that does still do the full combo. You will normal summon the Rex, add the Rookie for hire, you can summon the Jet, add the starter. You can then activate the Rookie, summoning the Beat Bladesman. You can link for Donna Dagger, tribute Donna Dagger, summon back 2. Use Beat Bladesman to add the Duck. Use Beat Bladesman to summon the Duck. You can then link for Folgo, which allows you to summon Rafal and add the top card of your deck to your hand, effectively drawing 1. You can then use Spright Starter to summon the Spright from your deck. Adding the red, you can then summon the red. And from here you can pretty much do anything. You could re-summon the Donna, or you could keep going with your Spright plays. There's a ton of different things you can do, depending on what the rest of your hand is, as you still will have 4 cards in hand after completing this combo. For a quick look at the probability of the deck, roughly you have a 50% chance at minimum if you play a 40 card deck of opening your Spright engines. However, if you include some of the supplementary engines like Nimble stuff, or the Live Twin stuff, or even the Runic stuff, it goes up to around 70 to 80%, which is incredibly high and extremely consistent for a deck, especially being able to play a lot of hand traps alongside that makes the deck extremely strong consistent-wise. Additionally, because every extended that you open allows you to build a slightly stronger board, meaning that the more extenders that you can play possibly in the deck alongside your starter cards will increase the probability of you making an incredibly powerful end board. Spright is a very powerful deck in today's current metagame. However, if you're wanting to play Spright, you have to be willing to accept its more slower, control-y based game plan, despite mainly looking like a combo deck. Spright itself doesn't have too many combos within it. It's a case of opening a ton of extenders and making a strong board while having a ton of recursion. However, if you enjoy this specific playstyle, I would highly recommend purchasing Spright as a deck, as it is not only extremely good within today's current metagame with an excellent array of matchups, however, also the deck is extremely fun to play and can be really, really good at outing opponents' boards in using only its engine alone. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be making more of these later.